stumbled across this frame for just $5.99, I could tell right away it was homemade. It has so much character, and I'm all about that farmhouse vibe in my home still. So I designed this graphic, which you can find in my Etsy store. Here's a QR code, and it's also available free to my Graphic Club members. Here's another QR code. And as soon as I saw this frame, I knew I wanted to incorporate that graphic into it so it would fit perfectly into my farmhouse aesthetic in my kitchen. And I think it's going to look great for the upcoming spring and summer season. This frame didn't need much, just a good dusting and a wash since it was a bit dusty and dirty from the years. Now we're going to seal it up with some polyacrylic sealer. I've got some semi-gloss, and I think it's really going to revive this frame and make those beautiful scalloped edges pop a little bit more. I love when I find a thrift store frame that doesn't actually need a whole lot of upcycling, maybe just some new sealer or swapping out a picture and it's good as new. You can always find these gems at the thrift store. You don't have to go to places like Winners or Marshalls or Target to buy something brand new. I've found that thrift store offers pieces with so much more character, and with just a little bit of elbow grease, you can create some beautiful home decor at a fraction of a price. I designed a collection of 12 canning label graphics, and they're available in my Shopify store. You can shop them right here. They're also included in my Graphic Club library, so if you're a member, you can download them right away and get started on your next project. I love how these designs bring that rustic farmhouse vibe to life, and I think they're perfect for adding that personal touch to your home decor. If you're interested in checking them out, all the details will be down below, or you can shop it by clicking this link right here. I've printed off the graphic on my inkjet printer and I sized it to fit inside my frame. But since my frame is a little bigger than an 8x10, I'm going to mount it on the mat of the picture frame. I'm going to carefully trim off that white border around the outside of the graphic, taking my time to make sure that it's nice and straight so it looks really neat. Now we're going to grab the backing of the picture frame, which is a perfect surface to mount this graphic on. And I want it to have a little bit of character. So I'm not going for a perfect smooth look. I want it to look like an old canning label that's been used and weathered. So I'm going to gently scrunch the paper, creating some wrinkles to give it that authentic worn look. This will really add to that rustic vintage vibe that I'm going for this strawberry label graphic. I want to create a distressed color edge, so I grab some ink and my dabber, and I'm going to gently go around the outside of that graphic to give it a more worn vintage label look rather than just a plain cut white edge. This is going to help it give it that aged rustic feel and make it look more authentic. To attach the graphic, I don't want it to be permanent, so I'm going to use some spray adhesive. This way I can easily switch up the graphics whenever I want to change it for the different seasons. I love these canning labels because I have a whole theme going. There's summer, there's Christmas, and more. So for now, that strawberry graphic is perfect for the upcoming spring and summer season. One thing I had to do was adjust the hanger on the frame. It was going the wrong way, and I needed it to hang vertically, not sideways. So I'm removing the screws and switching the wire out. Instead of putting the wire back on, I'm going to use a little D-clip to hang it up. With the D-clip securely in place, it's time for the final touches. I'm going to give the glass a good clean so the graphic shines through without any dust and smudges. And then I'm going to pop it back in the frame, and just like that, this thrifted $5.99 find is transformed into a charming farmhouse-style decor piece. And I love how simple swaps like this can add so much character to a space. I'm a plant lover. I'm not sure if I have the greenest thumb, but I do my best. And one thing I always check out at the thrift store is the glassware section. Small glass dishes and even vintage ashtrays make perfect little catch-alls for plant water, adding a touch of elegance while being super practical. I've got some pothos propagating here, and since ceramic planters can sometimes let a bit of moisture through, I'm placing a crystal dish underneath, and it helps protect my furniture while it still looks beautiful. You know that feeling when you have something on your thrifted wish list for ages and then you finally find it? It might be a little unusual, but I've always wanted one of these 1970s bamboo planters. So when I came across this one shaped like a bicycle, I was beyond excited. It's not in perfect shape. There's some unraveling here and there, and it's definitely dusty and dirty, but that's nothing a good cleaning can't fix. I'm going to take it to the sink and I'm going to give it a thorough scrub with some Dawn dish soap and some hot water, and we're going to see what's underneath all of that grime. It also was marked $20, and I was able to pick it up for $10. After a quick Google search, I found that these are actually selling for a pretty good price. I even saw one listed on Etsy for over $70, so they're definitely collectible. I'm not looking to sell this one. I plan to add it into my home decor and put a nice plant in it, but it's always a great feeling when you score something for a fraction of its value. Now I need to tidy up those few pieces of loose bamboo. I'm just going to use my hot glue gun to carefully secure them back in place so they don't unravel anymore. A little bit of glue should do the trick and keep everything looking neat. This piece has some discoloration, so I'm going to use one of my favorite products, Howard's Restore Finish. I love this stuff, and I'll just put a little on a rag and wipe it over that entire planter. I don't think it's going to change the color too much, but it'll even everything out and give the piece a nice refreshed look. Since bamboo is a natural material with similar finish to wood, Howard's Restore Finish will work by penetrating its surface to even out any discoloration and revive the natural tones. Bamboo can dry out and fade over time, and this product helps recondition it by restoring some of its original richness without making it look overly polished or artificial. It's not going to drastically change the color, but it's going to help blend any worn or faded areas, giving that entire planter a more uniform look. Plus, since bamboo has a smooth sealed surface, Restore Finish will absorb just enough to refresh it without making it feel greasy or sticky. When applying this product to your piece, a little goes a long way, so start with just a small amount on a soft, clean cloth, and then gently rub the product in a circular motion, working out any faded or discolored areas. Be sure to apply it evenly to avoid streaks, and for best results, use light pressure, allowing the product to penetrate the bamboo and blend that color. Let the surface absorb the product for a few minutes, and then you can buff out any excess with a dry cloth. This is going to make sure you have a smooth finish without making the bamboo too shiny or leaving that product just laying on the top. And there we have it. How cute is this little setup? I swapped out the original pot for one that I had on hand, added a fresh plant, and now this bamboo bicycle planter is just a perfect addition to my home. You can see why it was on my thrift bucket list. It's absolutely adorable. It's sitting in a sunny window, and I'm excited to watch this plant grow. I needed a new teapot because Kirsten's coming to visit soon, and my old one was just a little tiny thing. So when I spotted this beauty for only $4.99, I had to grab it. She loves a good cup of tea during the day, and this teapot is just perfect. Can you ever have too much pottery? I don't think so. I absolutely love handmade pottery, and this piece is stunning. The lid, the details, everything about it is beautiful. Into the cart it goes, straight into my pottery collection. And look at this adorable 3-bowl handmade pottery piece. It's only $3.99, perfect for little treats or condiments. And I'm so glad I found these pottery pieces today. Such great deals and such beautiful craftsmanship. I have these 2 picture frames that I upcycled a while ago and gave them a really distressed finish, but now I'm ready for a change. The graphics inside were from my Shopify store, but I'm feeling a coffee theme for a fresh update. So I removed the glass, take out those old digital downloads, and I'm going to clean the glass up with some Windex. Now we're going to print some new graphics from my Shopify store and size them to fit these frames. Now I love to put that in Google Docs, size them to the size of the frame. I have a full tutorial on how to do that. You can go down in the description and I'll have that link down there for that. And if you're already a Graphic Club member, these designs are also available in the library, ready to download instantly. If you're interested in joining, just check out the details in the description below. I have hundreds of digital downloads available, and you can start crafting right away with all these beautiful graphics that I have designed. I love updating the look with these new prints. It's such a simple way to refresh something that you already have. The one frame just needed a quick hanger change because I wanted to hang it vertically instead of horizontally. And I'm really excited about these Rise and Shine coffee and heritage roaster prints. They're going to be perfect for going right across from where my coffee bar is here in the kitchen. It's so easy to breathe new life into thrifted items you've gotten bored of just by switching out the artwork or adding a touch of your own personal style. Now these frames feel completely fresh, and I couldn't be happier with how they turned out. My home gets so much beautiful sunlight, and I've been on the hunt for the perfect plant stand to take advantage of it. So when I spotted this at the thrift store, I knew I had to bring it home. Just look at how gorgeous it is, and it's going to be such a unique piece. It's going to be perfect for displaying my plants. And the best part, it's solid maple. When I saw it was just $50, I knew it was a steal. The quality and the craftsmanship and the classic design make it such a great find. I love when I can bring home something timeless and both functional and beautiful. And look how it's styled with all of my favorite plants in a nice sunny spot. If you've been following along, you know I love finding original oil paintings in the wild at the thrift store, and this one is no exception. I spotted this beautiful piece tucked away in the corner, and as soon as I saw it, I knew it had to come home with me. The birch trees are absolutely stunning. The details in them are just incredible. But the little barn isn't quite as detailed, but I think it just gives it a little bit more charm. It was originally marked $30, but I managed to snag it for $25. Now I'm going to give the frame a little refresh to make it blend in more seamlessly with my home decor. So let's get started. The first thing that I'm going to do is remove that oil painting from the frame. Luckily, this was super easy since it was just held in with a few nails. I grabbed my pliers and carefully wiggled them out and lifted the painting free. This way we can refresh that frame without worrying about getting any paint on the artwork. Now let's clean up this frame. Over the years, it's probably collected some grease and grime and dust from being hung up and not getting a proper wipe down. I'm using a good cleaner to remove any buildup so we have a nice clean surface for the paint to adhere when we want to start painting. My go-to bare paint from Home Depot is limousine leather, and I absolutely love it. I've used this color in all of my interior and closet doors, so I'm painting this frame to match the rest of my home decor. This is a latex-based paint, and it'll probably take 2 or 3 coats to get full coverage, but trust me, it's going to be worth it. The first coat is done. I'm going to set it aside and let it dry completely. It's already got some pretty good coverage, but it's definitely going to need another coat or 2 to get that rich, even finish. It actually only took 2 coats to get really good coverage, which is great, but I think it needs a little bit more depth. So I'm going to go in with some 220 grit sandpaper to lightly distress the surface. This is just going to give it like that subtle rustic feel, which I think is going to complement that oil painting beautifully. As I was sanding along the inside edge, I noticed some white paint showing through. I didn't want it to stand out, so I sanded a little bit more to reach that natural wood underneath. Now everything looks cohesive and blends perfectly with that frame's new look. Now I'm going to dust everything off from sanding so we have a nice clean surface, and I've decided to use wax to seal the frame. It just gives it a nice beautiful finish. Wax does a few things. It adds a slight sheen, it's going to enhance that distressed detail, and it helps protect the paint from wear and tear over time. Plus it creates a smooth, sealed surface to make it easier to clean and dust. This is going to keep that frame looking great for years to come. I absolutely love using my homemade wax for projects like this. I have a tutorial that's going to walk you through how to make soft wax, hard wax, and even tinted wax. I'll put the QR code right here, and you can find also the link in the description. Making your own wax is such a cost-efficient way to get that high-quality finish for your DIY projects. I've found that it performs just as well as the store-bought stuff, and I love the results. It's a great option if you're looking to save money without compromising on the quality. As you can see here, the wax really brings out the colors and enhances the wood grain with just a light rub. All right, now let's get this painting back in and see how it looks with that freshly painted black frame. I'm going to place the painting back in, making sure the top of the oil painting is with the hanger. Trust me, I've put these together so many times and realized I accidentally had it upside down, so definitely check that it's right side up before securing it. Once it's in place, I'm going to grab those nails, use my pliers to gently secure the painting back into the frame, and we're going to be all set. I think the black frame was the perfect choice for this painting. It really makes it pop. We've just moved into a new home, so the decor is just getting started, and I've got this huge empty hallway upstairs that's like a blank canvas. This is the first painting I've hung up there, and I'm already loving how it looks. I'm planning on creating some gallery walls, maybe add some wallpaper. But for now, I think I like this painting hung right at the top of the stairs. It's just below the light switch, so every time you turn it on, it catches your eye. You can really see how much blank space I've got in this hallway, so I'm excited to fill it with all kinds of thrifted treasures. Next time you're at the thrift store, make sure to check out the smaller frame section. This one caught my eye. It was only $3.99 and the perfect size for my next light switch hack. So I brought it home, and now we're going to start by removing the back and the glass. We don't need that for this project. After that, I'm going to clean the back of the frame really well with some rubbing alcohol. This is going to help to get rid of any fingerprints or greasy residue, ensuring that the frame is ready for the next step. Next, we need some double-sided tape. I picked this up on Amazon and it works really well. It sticks to the wall without leaving any marks. This is perfect because if you decide to move it later or change its location, you don't have to worry about making any holes in the walls. We're just going to cut off 4 small pieces of double-sided tape and place them in each corner of the frame. We're going to press them down really firmly to make sure that they stick well. And once that's done, the tape will have a peel-off backing. So we just need to remove that, and then we're ready to stick the frame where we want it. You're not going to believe how beautiful this looks once it's on the wall. I have some very boring light switches in my dining room, and I think this is a great way to make them look a bit more elegant and cover up those ugly switches. We haven't gotten around to being able to change all of our light switches yet to more modern ones, so this is a perfect way to camouflage them a bit and give them more of a stylish look. I absolutely love how this frame adds a touch of elegance around the one in our dining room. I found this beautiful canister set at Value Village. It's a little funky for my taste, but someone has put a lot of time into painting it. And the best part, all 4 canisters were only $10.99, and they're solid pine. Such a great deal. I think I'm going to freshen them up a bit and give them a new look. They've got a few dings here and there, and some of the stain is missing in spots, plus the edges are really sharp. So I'm thinking I want to soften them up a bit. I'm going to go in with a 120 grit sandpaper and round out the edges to give them more of a worn, well-loved look, like they've been handled and used over time, rather than just a bunch of pine pieces nailed or stapled together. I want them to have that warm vintage feel. I've decided to keep the painted tool art on the front and not sand it all the way down. I really appreciate the character that it adds, and someone obviously put a lot of time and effort into it. For this project, I'm just going to embrace it. However, I'm going to lightly sand down the paint a bit because it's raised above the wood, so I want it to blend in more. The goal is to make it look like the design is part of the wood itself, almost like it was like a transfer rather than something being painted on top. I used my palm sander on the edges and the top to smooth out things, but when it came to sanding down the paint, I switched to hand sanding. This way I could control how much I was taking off and make sure I didn't damage that artwork. I could really feel how much pressure I was applying to avoid ruining those paintings and just blend it in nicely. Blend everything in, I'm going to be using Howard's Restore Finish. I'll put the link to it down below in the description, or I'll have a QR code right here. It's going to even out the stain where it's chipped or it's not quite matching that original color and help smooth out those edges that I just sanded. I'm really loving how this project is coming together, and I'm always seeing canisters at the thrift store, so they're easy to find and a perfect piece for upcycling. Howard's Restore Finish is a wood finish restoration product designed to bring old, worn-out wood furniture back to life. It helps blend scratches really well, blemishes, fading, and it's going to restore the wood's natural color and luster so you don't have to strip or sand. And it's ideal for refinishing furniture with just minor damage or uneven color, as it soaks into the wood and it helps even out that finish. It works on all kinds of different types of wood: oak, cherry, walnut, pine, making it a great option for quick touch-ups on furniture restoration pieces. If you haven't tried Howard's Restore Finish, I definitely recommend heading to the hardware store or grabbing some on Amazon. It's amazing for projects with blemishes. Just try it out and see how amazing it works. While this product is great for blending imperfections, there are a few situations where it might not be as effective. It's not going to fix deep scratches, gouges, structural damage to the wood, so it's not ideal for use on heavily worn or damaged furniture. This product also has a shiny finish, so if you're working on something that has a matte or a satin finish, it might not blend all that well. It's always a good idea to test it on a small hidden area first to make sure it's the right fit for your project. I've got them all refreshed and I love how even and cohesive the tone is now. To finish them off, I'm applying my DIY hard wax. I have a full tutorial on how to make this. You've got this QR code here, or I'll put it down below in the description. It's really easy to make, and we're going to put it on the outside surface. This is going to give them a nice protective layer so they can be easily wiped down with a damp cloth. Perfect for the kitchen. Now it's important to use a wax or an oil-based product over Howard's Restore Finish because it's also oil-based. If you try to use a water-based polyacrylic, it's not going to adhere properly and you're going to end up with issues in your finish. They're all finished and I have them sitting on my kitchen counter and I am in love with how they turned out. I'm so glad I didn't paint them and was able to keep that natural wood tone, plus keeping the painting over on the other side. So if I ever change my mind, I can just turn them around and enjoy that floral design. So what do you think? Do you like that floral painting or do you prefer the natural wood? Now that I have them on my counter and I'm switching them around, I have to say I don't hate it. In fact, I actually kind of like it. I might switch it back and forth depending on my mood. Either way, I'm just thankful I found this canister set for such a great deal. Next up, a kitchen makeover. If you look behind these canisters, you're going to see that baby blue paint we definitely need to take care of. We bought this house a couple months ago and we've been going room to room, updating and giving everything a fresh new look. On to the kitchen makeover.